Welcome to the Battle Blog. My name is Ryan, and today's topic is video game prices. So you're probably thinking, you're browsing on Amazon, and you're like, man, I just can't justify $59.99 for a game plus tax. I mean, weren't video games much cheaper back then? So I was born in the 80s, so my first system was the original Nintendo Entertainment System, and I remember the games for that being around $29.99 to $49.99. I mean, there was barely any games that were, over $59.99 except for RPGs like Dragon Warrior 3 or Dragon Warrior 4, which were the Dragon Quest games. And then when the Super Nintendo hit, that's when I think prices started really going through the roof. I remember normal games were $49.99 I remember paying $53.99 for Mega Man X1 back in the day. I also remember Final Fantasy 3, which was Final Fantasy 6, was $59.99, which is the normal game price. And I remember Chrono Trigger being $79.99. Yes, $79.99 in 1995. So, like when the PS1 and PS2 eras came, I remember games were about $49.99, maybe the occasional $59.99, but the games barely went over $49.99 because now games were being produced on CD-ROMs and discs, so the manufacturing costs were definitely a lot lower. So now we finally hit the Xbox 360, PS3 era, now PS4 and Xbox One, and now games are the standard $59.99 price now. And I remember back in the day, I was like, that was insane! And I have a full-time job! But then I remembered, a lot of Super Nintendo games were pretty expensive back in the day too, so my parents probably were the ones who suffered more. So what do I think about the $59.99 price for video games nowadays? Well, games are getting a lot more expensive to create right now, and in order to support the developers, we gotta pay a fair price for these games. I mean, I don't know how much they would get if we were only able to pay, $49.99 like back in the day. I also know stores buy them at wholesale, and wholesale is probably like $20 per game or something like that. So the stores have to earn a profit so they can cover their expenses too. So there's a lot of factors that go into where the money from these games go. Maybe they go to residuals to the voice actors, residuals to the producers, residuals to the creators and the company. Like there's like a million places where fractions of a cent go when you buy a game. And in order to keep the game industry going, we gotta pay for the game. So I mean, I'm not too anal about paying $59.99 for a game, but if games start going up to $69.99 or $79.99, that's when I'm starting to go, maybe I'll wait a little longer to play these games. I mean, especially when you buy games when they come out, they're normally $59.99 nowadays. But the handheld games are actually pretty cheap, like $39.99, $29.99, and handhelds definitely provide a lot of bang for your buck. Yeah, but there are a lot of PC games that start out at $29.99, and these are really good games. Like, I think, what's it called? The Rise of the Triad remake was listed at $29.99 when it came out. But let's not forget, you got your Steam sales, you got your GOG sales, which, pack these games in bundles, so you're paying pretty cheap for a lot of these games. But a lot of them are older games, though. Yeah, so what do you think about video game prices nowadays? Like, do you think the $59.99 price is fair, or in the future are they going to raise it to $69 or $79 or $100,009? Yeah, so that wraps up this battle blog about video game prices. I'm Ryan, so take care.